But unfortunately, I promised to present in English, so no Russian. К сожалению. So that's me, Jaroslaw Hryszko, and I have this great pleasure and thank you for this opportunity to speak once again in this beautiful country. First time on SQA Days. And just like Lucian before, I also represent the Polish testing board here. And also I have this pleasure, this opportunity to work with Polish government in a group on Internet of Things, which is focused on introducing Internet of Things in Poland. So this bald guy in glasses, that's me, my humble person. Apart from that, I also like to train, to share what I know, and as you can see, all those people after one of my artificial intelligence workshops are quite happy. I don't know why, but they are. And of course, I love to speak, so that's why I'm here, and that's why I was last year on the TestCon in Moscow. And today I will talk about, as you probably know, about using machine learning or deep learning, or simply saying artificial intelligence for Internet of Things. But as I have very, very little time, it will be just a kind of teaser. The topic itself is huge, and it is very hard to fit everything in 20 minutes. But let's start with the very beginning. Yesterday we had this presentation about buzzwords, and that wasn't this example when a manager goes back, returns from a kind of conference with one buzzword, like, for example, artificial intelligence or automation. Let's automate everything. The same with Internet of Things. We hear about Internet of Things everywhere, so we can say that Internet of Things is everywhere, but at the same time, we don't really know what the Internet of Things is. Maybe it's all those smartphones we have. If we connect them together or connect them to the internet, then we will have Internet of Things. Or maybe, I don't know, the smart TV we have at home connected to the internet will be part of the Internet of Things. But to be honest, today we can connect almost everything to the internet. We have even, I don't know, our sockets in walls connected to the internet. We can control lighting in our houses via internet. We can connect our, I don't know, water supplies at home with the internet. Same with us, with humans. We can wear things connected to the internet. We can have our, I don't know, glasses connected to the internet, socks connected to the internet. Yeah, there are socks with Bluetooth, which can indicate if we should, change them. No, that's true, really. So currently, if we want, we can connect to the internet everything. There is even a ball pen connected to the internet. Instead of pushing this button at the top of the ball pen, we can use an application, Android application, to do it. It is expected that by 2020, 75 billion different devices will be connected to the internet, but by the 2050, we will have almost the entire world population connected to the internet. And then how this world will be look like, maybe like this, in this movie, that we as a human will not have to do anything, and just all the robots will do the stuff for us. But now, let's just focus on the near future. So it is expected that by 2020, the 7.5 billion of different devices will be connected to the internet. Do we know how much is it? How many devices is it? Just compared to the fact that currently we have something about 5.5 billion humans on Earth. And by the next year, we will have the 10 different devices per human connected to the internet. So what question should tester ask after hearing such fact? Well, there is just a one question. Is there any way to test all of this? Okay, so we will be surrounded by a different devices connected to the internet, which will build this huge internet of things. And as a testers, as a quality assurance, software quality assurance professionals, we need to find a way how to test them, how to assure this quality. Well, you know it from the presentation description. So you know that there are people who already found the solution for that problem, that we will have automated or I don't know, robots, let's say robots everywhere, hardware everywhere, and we will have to assure that they are working correctly. There was a guy, unfortunately a science fiction writer called Stanisław Lem. Yeah, he was Polish. And in 1961, he wrote a book called Возвращение со звезд, Return from the Stars. And you know what? Maybe you don't know, but there is one movie based on this book. You've got the one book here. That's great. So, the footballka for you. Woo! Still, I have one, so be prepared. You guys, in Russia, in 1987 or 88, you made a movie based on this book. And what was all about? This nice chap on the right was a cosmonaut who just returned after the almost 200 years from space, and everything changed on the Earth. And this chap on the left explained to him that right now on the Earth, everything is maintained by robots. Robots take care of everything. So our cosmonaut asked who supervise those robots, those automata. And the second guy answered, well, another robots. We have so many robots that just we have another robots to control, to check, to test those first one, let's say. And this guy on the left was the human on top who controlled those robots, who controlled robots. So yeah, 1961, and we already have the answer. As a testers, we need to use machine learning. We need to use deep learning to effectively test this huge amount of software which consists on Internet of Things. Just like I said, we don't really have time here today to describe in details how everything works, but just in a very simplified form, machine learning or deep learning, because machine learning, it's nothing new for us. Machine learning was, invented in 60s, last century. But just last years, as we have very fast computers, we invented as a humans something called deep learning, a very fast machine learning. And thanks to that technique, for example, we can train machines by, for example, showing them pictures or showing them examples. If we show them enough examples of dog, they will learn to recognize a dog. If we show them enough pictures of a cat, they will learn to recognize a cat. And, well, pictures are just the data. Nothing more, nothing less. So also in the Internet of Things world, everything generates data. And for us humans, this amount of data is so huge that for us it's just a kind of, noise. We don't really understand what this huge amount of data means. So we can also use deep learning to assure quality in the world of Internet of Things. We can train our machines, our computers, using examples. We can show them data after which everything worked well, and we can show them data after some time that something bad happened with our Internet of Things. Maybe some blow up, maybe some, I don't know, some just broke up. So, if we receive brand new data from our Internet of Things equipment, piece of our Internet of Things, and we will feed it into the already trained deep learning mechanism, just like, in a weather forecast, we will be able to get a forecast for the future state of the quality of our equipment. So we can, without even knowing how to test this equipment, we can use deep learning to trained deep learning to check Internet of Things for us, just like in the book. We can use other computers to check the computers in the Internet of Things area. Good news, most of the tools we can use for that are open source or free software, and the most effective one, like for example TensorFlow here, are also freely available on the internet. But once again, k sожалению, I don't have enough time to focus on all of them, but I will tell you a little bit about my favorite one, KNIME. Why it is my favorite one? Because if we want to use KNIME, apart from the fact that it is free, we don't have to know how to program. We don't have to have any programming skills, because if we aim to use machine learning, for example, for test Internet of Things stuff, the only thing we need to do is just to connect some blocks together. Yeah, and you can find this tool. They don't pay me for that, really. You can find this tool under this URL, and if you are familiar with Eclipse integrated development environment for Java, so you will also find yourself in KNIME. And how it works? Well, I prepared a very small demo for you, but once again, unfortunately, there is no enough time, and also I was not able to use my own laptop, so it will be a kind of simulation of using KNIME right now. So how easy is to use, for example, this open source tool to test equipment from the Internet of Things area? First, we take a brick which is responsible for connecting to a database where we store our data from Internet of Things stuff. So we just take this one single brick, which is responsible for connecting to a database, and then we connect it to another brick, which is responsible for this learning process, which I shown you a few slides before. And that's it. Well, after that, in this example, random forest, AI classifier, whatever, we don't even have to know what it means and how it works. It's already trained. And then we can, for example, collect data from other sensors or other pieces of the Internet of Things we want to test. Then we present this data to the predicting piece of our deep learning mechanism, and we connect the, let's say, knowledge between those two pieces. And really, that's everything. And after that, on the output of this brick, we will have already, the result of this entire process of using deep learning or machine learning on testing data from Internet of Things. And then by using a different blocks, we can do with this data whatever we want. For example, we can write it as an Excel file, for example. But we can also show it on the screen, or, I don't know, send it even on Twitter. Yeah, because KNIME has such blocks like, for example, tweet something, or, I don't know, put it on Facebook. Yeah, that's my opinion about it. So it was just, I don't know, 3 or 5 minutes, and within 5 minutes we did a very basic IoT testing with deep learning or machine learning. But my time here is very short now. But I bet what will be that I know what will be the next question here. Okay, so if we start to use automata, if we start to use machine learning or artificial intelligence as a testers, of course, we will lose our jobs. Yeah? Nah. Just remember that guy. Still at the top of all those very boring things which machines will be take care of, there will be humans. They will be us. So don't worry. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc., those are just mathematical equations, tools, nothing more. They will not kill us. They will not exterminate humans. They will just make our work much more pleasant, and then we can focus on a much more interesting things. So if you are interested more in this topic, you can, for example, find some of my papers on the Google Scholar. If you, for example, some troubles with sleeping, then you can read it before going to sleep. But if you will have any other questions, like maybe not now, but during the morning shower or something like that, then you can write me on my Polish testing bot email. And for sure, I will answer them. Of course, you can catch me on different social networks. And with that last slide, I want to say thank you, and maybe we will have some questions right now, because once again, I have somewhere the second footballka too.
Здравствуйте, спасибо за доклад. Я по-русски, надеюсь, переводчики переведут. Дело в том, что машинное обучение...
The machine learning is used for, if it's used for complex tasks, it costs quite a lot. And probably if we have to use some algorithm, it might be too expensive. It maybe will be much cheaper to use just manual testing, you know. For example, you need 1 year to teach the machine, but after 1 year the data is obsolete, so you have to do it again, right?
No, I will not try. So I'm quite good at Russian, but not in a technical one. So can someone translate it to me? Not really? Just write me an email in Russian, and I will. Okay.
I'll try.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I really did understood this question. Okay, so, but still in English. Well, it's a general problem of automation of everything, right? So sometimes it's better to do things manually than in an automated way. But if we talk about obsolete data and data which is no longer proper for our machine learning, then we can also automate this process, and we also did it. We have tools which are fully automated, which collect the data in an automated way, also train our machine learning automatically, for example, each year with a new data. So, of course, it's a general problem for automating everything that we need to spend a little more time and money in the very beginning of the process to have our solution, and maybe it will not be financially effective to do it, but if it will be financially effective, for example, this mighty return on investment factor will be satisfactory for us, then yes, I guess we can, for example, automate in such a way that we can use a new data every year and collect it automatically. Still, we have some time? Okay, let's go. Thank you.
Hello. Спасибо за презентацию. У меня вопрос. Есть тестовые, на которые мы будем тестировать результаты обучения. Какими вы инструментами пользуетесь для того, чтобы определить на тестовой выборке, сколько объектов обычная нейронная сеть задетектировала и как правильно она их классифицировала? То есть у вас какие-то самописные инструменты или вы используете какие-то внешние?
Now we are getting into really technical details, right? Maybe next year, for example, we will spend together not 20 minutes, but I don't know, 1 hour or even more, and then I can we can focus more on this topic. Well, we use in some applications we use Python located on a central server. And then, this Python script is analyzing in a real time how much data will be the mostly effective amount of data for what we need to achieve. So, if we just only want to use a little data, then Python script will recognize that and collect just a little data. If for our purposes we need to collect a larger amount of data, script will be able to also to recognize it. There is a special algorithm for that. It is called feature selection. But once again, now we are going into really technical details, and everything is described in my papers. Unfortunately, in English. Maybe it will be a good idea to write the first one in Russian. But I need to learn much more technical words in Russians instead of, I don't know, electronical ones, because I'm an electronic engineer, so I know katushka, for example, or other things. Transistor, да, resistor.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. You was the first.
Ловите Ярослава в кулуарах.